Scorpio, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. Sure, here we go. So, at first you got in your head because you were concerned if things were balancing out for you. And now you feel like you don't care how off kilter this makes you. You just don't want it to roll around in your head anymore. So what you're trying to do is to forget about keeping score and let go of a situation. This overthinking isn't serving you, and you recognize that now. You're like, I just want to get it out of my head and deal with whatever consequences come by letting everything go. The anxiety is, you have to journey away from this energy that you're trying to let go of, okay? But you really don't know where to start, okay? You have all your resources in hand. You've taken stock of what you have. You just don't know where you're going. Like, which direction do you go? Where do you start in order to let go? How do you let go? And it causes you anxiety because you're like, well, if I do this, but if I do that, it reminds me of, or if I do this, it's kind of the same as, you know what I mean? So you're very indecisive about just taking those first steps. And it's because the first step is so goddamn painful, right? Because the sun in the inverse is about closing a chapter. You know, it's not, sorry. I have a light up here and it auto adjusts and sometimes it, there we go. You can see the cards better now. So the sun in the inverse is about a chapter closing. Okay. And that's not always a bad thing, right? It's the sun setting on the old you. And the new you comes after the dark night. But with the sun setting, it causes so much pain, and you know that night is going to be difficult. It's going to be lonely. So the reason you don't want to take this step is because you know these next few steps are the ones that hurt the most. You've been through this before, and it's painful. So, if this is about a friend, a close personal relationship, a friend, a family member, or even a romantic partner, it's like, you know you have to leave, but it's hard for you to do so. It's hard for you to initiate the exit. Because it's going to hurt you, and it's going to hurt them. Just the idea of the initiation and knowing the pain that comes with it causes you anxiety. But the alternative is just to wrestle with overthinking the situation and holding on to something that isn't there anymore. Now, on the other hand, if this is vocational or financial, okay, it's almost like you have to pull your resources from something else. You know you have to, and you've already made up your mind, but you don't know where to put those resources. And you're concerned that you're pulling your resources too quickly and it might hurt you financially in the long run. Okay, so there's two different ways to look at this because this is a general read and not every Scorpio is going through the exact same thing, right? It's about the energy. Ooh, okay. So when you think about this, let me get there. There we go. That's a good angle. When you think about this, you recognize that you want to take your resources elsewhere. You're hopeful. You're very, very hopeful that once you pull your energy away, you'll know exactly what to do. You've gone within, okay, and you've learned from some mistakes in the past. However, now remember, the Lover's card is about choices, right? We can't always choose how we feel, but we can choose how we act. But the Lover's card is also about wrestling with your own shadow side. It's about the balance between yin and yang, darkness and light. That's why I say wrestling with your shadow side. So if this is a personal relationship, okay, like I said, a friend, a family member, or maybe even a romantic partner, it's like you have the hope that once you pull away from this person, that somebody else will fill that void. However, if this has something to do with finances, okay, it's almost like you recognize that you need to make more choices in order to figure out what to do with those new resources, and that it's going to take some research, not only looking at the information outside, but going back and seeing what's worked for you in the past and what hasn't, because the Hermit is about researching yourself and wrestling with the good habits and the bad habits that you had in your past. So ultimately, this tells me that you have choices to make. And the best thing to do to learn what to do with your resources is to go within, not to go asking around to other people and spreading your business all out there. Okay? So again, I'm just going to recap for you, Scorpio. You've recognized and acknowledged that it's time to let go of this particular energy, even if it throws you way off balance and you have to self-correct. You fear taking those first steps and pulling your resources from this energy, because ultimately you know that there's a sacrifice, a pain that comes with it. But now is the time to go within and reconfigure and learn how to balance yourself. Not balance the outside world, balance the inside world in order for something new and better to come in. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you guys next week.